Hello everyone, welcome to Unacademy J English. Unacademy J English, yes, you heard it right. A totally new channel launched by Unacademy where each and every topic will be taught in pure English. We were getting so many requests, and guys, now your wait is over and this channel is live now. So on this channel, I will teach basic quantum number and electronic configuration. But before teaching, I will tell you certain things about myself, or let me introduce you. I am Rahul Kaushik, ex-head of department Bansal Classes Kota, and I also co-founded Zigyan Education Private Limited, and I am having 10 plus years of experience in Bansal Classes Kota itself. I have mentored 2000 plus IITians, and now due to Unacademy and due to Unacademy's initiative, I'm here to help you out. So guys, for next few minutes, I will take a few minutes of you, and believe me, if you listen me carefully for next few minutes, these 3 minutes can definitely change your life, change course of your life. So how to be part of this academic revolution? You have to subscribe an academy platform, and there are certain simple steps how to subscribe. Step number one: if you have Android phone or iPhone or Apple phone, you can directly go to either Play Store or App Store and just type an academy learning app will automatically appear. So just click on an academy learning app, and then after clicking, download it, and after download, install this app. After installing, you will find icons like this. Just click on the plus, and after clicking plus, so many courses will appear there, and just click on the course you want to subscribe. After clicking on the course, just click on the subscription button, and you are all way through there. After this, here comes tricky part. And what is that? If you are taking 1 month subscription, it would cost you 6,000. It would cost you 6,000. Seems high. But let me tell you, preparing for IIT or preparing for NEET is not 1 or 2 month task. You have to prepare it for at least 2 years. Nowadays, a student even start preparing since ninth class. So your journey with Unacademy, I hope, will be long journey. So you should opt for longer package, or like for 3 month package, you have to pay 5,000 bucks per month. For 6 months, you have to pay 4,000 per month. But if you take 2 year subscription, if you take 2 year subscription, then you just have to pay 1,500 bucks. Guys, 1,500 bucks. If you divide it by 30, it just cost you 50 bucks per day. And 50 bucks nothing, just a chocolate. And once you are part of an academy, you will get the best in the field, the best and the most experienced faculty team of India under one roof. You can subscribe it and be a part of this revolution, and surely, guys, and surely you will you will rock. You will rock. Just crack it. Now there is one more point which I want to tell you. If you want 5,000 rupees discount, then you can apply my code Rahul Camp. You can just apply Rahul Camp. By doing so, you will also help me, and you will get a discount of 5,000 rupees approx. So let's crack it and begin our basic quantum number and electronic configuration. Point is, why do we call it basic quantum number? Because detailed quantum number will be done once we will do atomic structure. So why do we need quantum number? To tell this particular point, I have to go in your 9th or 10th class. Why 9th or 10th class? Because in 9th and 10th class, You have already studied Bohr's model and Rutherford model. So now you know an atom consists of three parts: electrons, protons, neutrons. And it has a nucleus and it has some orbitals. So let me discuss this point. Suppose this is an atom, and this particular part of atom is called nucleus. And you know 99.9% mass of an atom reside at this point. Around this nucleus we have electrons. They are very light. So in first shell we have 2 electrons. In second shell we can have maximum 8 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. So point is, we know the address of neutrons and protons. So if we talk about neutrons and protons, they reside inside nucleus, and combinedly they are also called nucleons. Combinedly they are also called nucleons. So their address is clear. They reside in nucleus. And now we have to find out address of electron. So to find out address of electron, what we can do? Because an electron can be present, it can be present in first shell, it can be present in second shell, it can be present in third shell. So how will I find? In 9th and 10th standard, we just read about orbits and shells, but now in 11th class, especially in atomic structure, we will discuss all these things in detail. Like inside a shell, there are subshells. Inside subshells, there are orbitals, and inside orbital, electrons reside. So we have to find out address of electron. Now let's discuss it. Address of electron, what does it mean? So quantum numbers are basically four numbers it is a set of four numbers which is used to locate an electron inside an atom. So now you know quantum number, they can be certain numbers. And why do we need those numbers? Those certain numbers are used to locate an electron inside an atom. An electron inside an atom, inside an atom means it can be in first orbit, it can be in second orbit, it can be in third orbit. Whether I am telling you orbit or shell, it means same. Keep in mind, whether I'm telling you about orbit or shell, both mean same. Okay, so now let's come to the next point. Now suppose you are going in an aeroplane from India to let's take US. That's very long journey, and inside an aeroplane there is a brawl, and somebody, and you are intelligent. Inside an aeroplane you are with a parachute. Now somebody throws you out of aeroplane. Somebody out of aeroplane, and in the midst of night there is totally dark, and once you land on the ground using parachute, you are okay, you are safe and sound. But now you find there, suppose you are in Africa, and Africa, you know, there are tribals, or there are certain there are um, African netizens. So they might ask you, where do you belong? What would you tell? Where do you belong? What would you tell? First point, what do you tell? Will you tell your home address directly? No, you will never tell your home address directly. First, you will tell like your country name. Suppose it is India, like you are Indian. Then you will tell whatever state you belong. It can be Haryana. After that, you will tell some district. Can be Faridabad, or anything else. If you guys can use your home states as well, and then it comes to your home address, right? So my point is, you are lost in African, some African country, and somebody asks you your address. So first of all, you tell your country name, then your state name, then your district name, then your house. So there is a hierarchy. There is a hierarchy. Now, similarly, if an atom, if an electron is present inside an atom, there must be some hierarchy. Here I can say India, that's big. Inside a country, there are states. So it is relatively smaller unit. Inside states, there are certain districts. And inside districts, there are homes, and collection of those homes is called a village or district, whatever you can call it. So this is basically the smallest unit of address, right? So when we are locating an electron, first of all, we have to tell shell, or orbit. Keep in mind, I'm telling you shell or orbit. So it is largest unit. Inside cells, there will be, inside cells, there will be subcells. There will be subcells. And then inside subcells, there must be some smaller unit called orbitals. So orbitals and orbit, these two are different. Orbital is the smallest unit, and inside orbital electrons reside. So guys, now point is clear. You are in Africa and you have exactly located your home address, and I hope you guys have, I personally hope that nobody found herself or himself in such a situation. But if you are found, then you have to tell your address only like this way. So now if we want to locate an electron inside an atom, then first we have to tell about its shell, in which shell, whether it is in first shell, second shell, third shell. Now if it is in first shell or second shell, then in which subshell. Subshell, this particular part indicates sub. Like in India we have inspector and then sub inspector. So sub is lower in hierarchy. Similarly, shell and subshell. Subshell, when I'm saying subshell, so I can say subshell will be smaller than shell. Now this orbital will be further smaller than, it will be inside the subshell, and then here comes the electron. So to locate an electron, we call this subshell, and we denote this subshell by a quantum number n, this subshell by a quantum number L. Orbitals, we can denote orbitals by many things. We will discuss that, but right now we can take M, and then there are electrons, and electrons we denote by S. So N will tell you about in which shell a particular electron is present. L will tell you in which subshell an electron is present, and M will tell you about the orbital. So there must be some value of M that will tell you about the orbital, right? And then comes the electron. So now point comes, what do you mean by orbital? Can anybody explain what do you mean by orbital? It's very important point. What is orbital? So suppose this is nucleus, and now in 11th till 9th and 10th we have studied that electrons are like particles, and we denote, if it is nucleus, we denote electrons by dots, like making such dots, right? But now after reading quantum mechanics, we will study about electrons, and we will get to know about this particular thing, that electrons have dual nature. They can have particle nature as well as wave nature. That will be done later on. So we will talk, if it is a wave, then we cannot be 100% certain about the location of an electron. Why? Because we are considering an electron to be a wave, and there is no guarantee because wave can overlap. Right now I'm sitting here, and here even there can be hundreds of or thousands of wavelengths. They are all overlapping, and even at a single place, if I'm holding this pen, then it is particle, and at this point, except this pen, there can be no other thing which can occupy this particular space, which has been occupied by this pen. But in case of wave, at the same point there can be million, trillions, or whatever you call n number of waves. So waves, you are not certain where waves are and where waves are not. So now if we consider electron to be a wave, then we cannot be sure about its location, and we say an orbital is three-dimensional space. An orbital is three-dimensional space around a nucleus where it is nucleus, around a nucleus where probability of finding an electron is maximum. So we cannot be 100% sure like electron will be found here or electron will be found here. We cannot be 100% sure about it, right? We can just say probability of finding an electron at this point is more, and probability of finding an electron at this point is a bit less, but we cannot be 100% sure. That's why we use this definition. Orbital is smallest unit. Like we people live in house, an electron lives in orbitals, and collection of orbital, like collection of house is called, suppose, district. Collection of district is called state. Collection of states is called country, right? So what I'm telling you, collection of orbitals is called a subshell. Collection of subshell is called shell. So now you better understand. So orbital, it is a three-dimensional space. It is a three-dimensional space around nucleus where probability of finding an electron is maximum. The orbitals are characterized by set of three quantum numbers. So now suspense is over and we are moving to the quantum numbers. Sir, what are these quantum numbers? You are telling why do we need quantum number? What will we do with the quantum number? Actually, what is this quantum number? So be patient. Now I am going to start quantum numbers. So there are four quantum numbers. As I have already told you, first quantum number is called principal quantum number. Second quantum number is called azimuthal quantum number or subsidiary quantum number. Students, be careful because in IIT JEE or other competitive exams, they call it subsidiary quantum number, and you will start subsidiary. Azimuthal quantum number is known as subsidiary quantum number, right? Its second name is important. Why? Because everybody knows azimuthal quantum number, but in exam you will find subsidiary quantum number, right? And next one is magnetic quantum number. Another one is spin quantum number. So these are the four numbers. Now let me tell you, this particular number will tell you about shell. This particular number will tell you about subshell, and this will tell you about orbitals. So now we will discuss this particular thing in detail, and this spin quantum number will talk about electrons, how they reside inside an orbital. That's also tricky and we will discuss. So let's start now. Principal quantum number. What is principal quantum number? I already told you. This quantum number tells us about shell or orbit. Suppose if I say N1, it means first shell. If I say N2, then it means second shell. We also call it energy level. We also call it energy level. N2 means second shell, or we can also call it second energy level. N3, it is third shell. or third energy level, right? So now point arises, sir, what can be the values of n? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Till what point it will go? Till what point it will go? Any guess? Answer is already there on the slide. N have permissible values 1 to infinity. So n can have any value 1 to infinity. Now point arises, sir, can it be 1.5 or 1.2? Like 1.5? What does it mean? First energy level, there can be second energy level, there can be third. 1.5 energy level? No. So here it is also important, n can have values from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to infinite, and all values will be positive integers. All values will be positive integers. Keep in mind, it cannot have fractional value, it can have only positive integers. So now you know all 2 points are covered. Now it also represents cell number or energy level. I've already told you both points are covered in one. So now there are certain things like if n is 1, it is first energy level. It is first energy level. If n is 2, then it is second energy level. If n is 3, then it would be third energy level. So whether I'm saying energy level or I'm saying what? Shell, or I'm saying orbit, all three are same. So be careful about this point. Energy level, orbit, energy level, orbit, or shell, all three are same. So let me put it here. Energy level, orbit, or shell. So guys, don't get confused orbit with orbital. Orbital is smallest unit. These are not equivalent in any. Orbit and shell are same. So we are talking about principal quantum number. Now 2 points are clear. It can have value from 1 to infinity, or it can have or it will have values only positive integers. And second point, it also represents cell number or energy level. Now it's clear. Next point. Third point, it is very important. It also determines the energy of electron in general. Higher the value of n, यहाँ के बाद full stop है. It also determines the energy of electron. How? How will it determine? So let me discuss this point. Suppose this is nucleus, and around nucleus electrons reside, as you all know. So let's take, if one electron, this is shell number 1, this is shell number 2, this is shell number 3. Now let me ask, one electron is here, and suppose some electrons are here also. And let me do numbering. This is 1, 2, 3. So now if I ask which particular electron will have higher energy, 1, 2, or 3? Can anybody explain, or is there any guess? Which will have highest energy? No answer. So let me explain. This particular electron, the electron present in third shell, will have highest energy, then second, and then third. So I can say as n increases, energy increases. Very important. As n increases, energy increases. So if an electron is present in first shell and another in second, the electron present in second shell will have more energy than the electron present in first shell. Very important. So now we know n tells you energy level. So as value of n increases, energy of electron also increases. So many people are confused of why. So you can take it like this way. Suppose everybody knows formula of potential energy. It is mgh. It is height from the ground. So now there are three students having same mass. G will also be same for each and every. And one student is standing on the first floor, another on the second, and another on the third. Which student will have highest potential energy? Tell me. The student who is standing on the first floor, second floor, or third floor? The third floor student. mgh, height will be maximum. Similarly, you can say this is simply an analogy. As n increases, energy level increases. If an electron is present on the first orbit, its energy will be more. If an electron is present on the second orbit and then third orbit, so third orbit electron will have maximum energy than 1 and 2. So now energy is also clear. So n tells us about energy level. As n increases, energy increases. N tells us about shell or subshell. N1 means first shell, N2 means second shell, N3 means third shell, right? And values of n can be integers. So 3 points are now clear. This is first quantum number. There are 4 quantum number. So right now we are discussing only one quantum number, that is principal quantum number. So let's move to the next point. Now in 9th class, again you have studied this Bohr-Bury model. In that particular model, if it is nucleus, this is first shell, second shell, third, fourth. Right now we call it as N1, N2, N3, N4. Right now we are calling it as energy level 1, energy level 2, energy level 3, energy level 4, or shell number 1, shell number 2, shell number 3, shell number 4. But Bohr-Bury model used to call it as K shell, L shell, M and N. So guys, get ready for the confusion. Many a times in exam a problem comes like in K shell and students start asking K shell? Shell can be either 1, 2, 3, 4. No, K means shell number 1. Because many a times, even in exam, I generally give problem in that way, like in M shell, there are 2 electrons, suppose, or 18 electrons. Then students generally leave such questions, and they are basically sitters. And a student simply leave all these questions. M shell, I think there is some printing error. No, it's not printing error, it's memory error. Whatever you have studied in your 9th class, you have forgotten. So be careful. K, L, M and N. To confuse you, instead of writing N1, N2, N3, sometimes it can be given as K, L, M and N. So next point. Now, principal quantum number, like I told you, the largest unit will be shell, and inside shell there will be subshells, and inside subshells there will be orbitals. So let me put it like this way. This is suppose shell, subshell, orbital. These are not exactly shells. I'm just telling you, like in mathematics Venn diagram. Don't consider it like it is, sir, does orbital have circular shape? No. It is Venn diagram of mathematics. I'm just telling you, orbitals are present inside subshell, and subshells are present inside shell. So directly I can say, like, in a country there can be n number of districts, or in a country there can be n number of villages. Similarly, I can say, like, in nth shell there can be subshells or orbital. The smallest unit is orbital. So we can directly find out maximum number of orbitals in nth shell, and formula will be n square. And how does this formula? We will discuss it later in atomic structure. And you can find out maximum number of orbitals present inside a shell, nth shell, will be what? N square. Like, let me put it this way. If I say in first shell, how many number of orbitals will be there? So n square, 1 square, that is 1. So now give me the answer. In second shell, 4 orbitals. In third shell, 9 orbitals. In fourth shell, so orbitals. So students, take care of it. Maximum number of orbitals in nth shell. Maximum number of orbitals in nth shell will be n square. And one orbital can accommodate only 2 electrons. So if there is one orbital, then number of electrons will be, let me change its color, number of electrons so in first shell there will be only one orbital, and that one orbital will have only one electron into 2. Why? I told you one orbital can have only 2 electrons. So in first shell I have only one orbital. So in first shell maximum 2 electrons can be accommodated. In second shell I have 4 orbital, and one orbital can accommodate 2 electrons. So 4 into 2, 8 electrons. In third, 9 into 2, 18. In fourth, 16 into 2, 32. So in Bohr-Sperry model also, you might have studied like 2, 8, 18. In your 9th standard, you generally do such things. 2, 8, 8, 18 or something like that. So now that is outdated. Just forget that. Now I can tell you, in first shell, there can be maximum 2 electrons. In second shell, there can be maximum 8. It never means like 8 electron will always be there. No. It's not like that. In second shell, it is maximum number of electrons, which second shell can accommodate. It can have 0 electron, it can have 2 electron, it can have 5 electron. That is okay. Similarly, maximum number of orbital are there, and number of orbital decides how many electrons will be there. So maximum number of electrons will be 2n square. So why this is 2? If there are n square number of orbitals, then 2 into n square number of electrons will be there. But it is not compulsory that an atom always has maximum number of electrons. It is not necessary. Keep in mind. Right? So that's it for now. Now the quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, and next one will be magnetic quantum number, and next one will be spin quantum number. We will do all those 3 numbers in our next class. And before winding up this session, again, let me tell you the most important thing which we discussed before the class also. And the point is, if you have installed this app, just click on the plus subscription. Then you choose your course. It can be IIT, NEET, or if you are preparing some other course as well. And now click on subscription button. Now click on subscription button. After clicking on subscription button, you will get these options. And students, in my initial part of the lecture, I told you this is most crucial and most important part of our discussion. 24 month, 1500 per month, 50 bucks per day, 50 bucks. Yep. What is 50 bucks? Simply if you move out and you hire a cab, it could cost you 200 bucks, 250 bucks. So it is nothing. Students, I'm telling you, just subscribe to this pack. And if you choose my code Rahul Cam, then you will get 5,000 rupees of extra discount. Rahul Cam. In this way, it will be a token of gesture for my efforts and you will also benefit by it. So don't forget to like and subscribe our new JEE English channel, and best of luck for your journey. Thank you.